Okay, to start out, just to kind of walk you through this. So we're going to have, this is goblin. Okay, so that's half roll to the left. The right guard is going to be pulling. Okay, we are going to have orbit motion coming from the outside wide receiver. Okay, which crosses defenders and messes with who's one and who's two. So this is going to be X ride. So the X, our outside receiver here on the left, is going to attack this hash and ride out. And then we are going to have this receiver on the backside. He is going to release, and he is going to be running what we call a burp. Okay, so that backside inside release post if he's able to inside release. Okay, so we'll watch several of these and just kind of take you through it. Here comes the motion. What we want this to do is create communication for the defense. We constantly have the threat of throwing what we call a comment fast screen out here on these motions. I've talked about that in other Coach Tube clinics. And we're also, that's the same motion, that's the same looks that we're getting when we run gap scheme runs. So to this point, we don't want them to have any idea, any clue, is this a run? Is this a pass? Is this just one of our gap scheme power plays or counter plays? Is this a fast screen or is this play action? Okay, you can see the half roll, which tends to be about 5 steps. The safety stays deep and there's nobody in the flat. So you can see him work high, medium, and he very quickly twitches and realizes, okay, I've got the flat uncovered. I'm going to take the flat. Okay, so their thing is that they're not going to let us throw it deep. They play super soft. We're able to just throw it out in the flat. So that kind of gives you a start. Okay, here's another look. Okay, we would rather this receiver be wider. He's a little tight. So that's going to make the backside safety a factor potentially, so we don't like that. We would rather him be a little wider on a split running right up this hash area, but he's scooted inside, and we live with it. So same thing, we've got the orbit motion. This one is Gator. We're going to the right. You can sort of see how the protection plays out. Okay, we would rather our right tackle there, he's got nothing to work to. We would rather him not leave. Okay, help that tight end out, and we can get a double. Just have a strong outside arm, and then keep my eyes inside to see if I get anybody else that shows. So we should have a double team there. Okay, there's nobody for the guard to block until late. But you can see, even as a shot play action, this gets out relatively quickly. Okay, safety, it uncaps as they get confused by the motion. The backside safety chases, and that uncaps the ride route. We're able to throw a touchdown. Now watch it one more time from the top. Taking the burp a little too long to get across, but that happens sometimes into the boundary when you're against an odd front. It's just hard to weave through all that traffic. Okay, here's another look. Again, a lot of these are orbit motion. We're creating communication. Now you see this front side safety is having to make a call. They're making a decision really quickly about how they're going to play this. Their thing versus this motion is to cloud quickly. Okay, so they're going to make that corner be responsible for the flat guy, and what that does is it uncaps the ride route. This guy's playing deep half. He weaves too wide, and we're past him. Okay, and the quarterback's able to make a throw. We get a touchdown there, and so you can see from this drone film really easily just kind of how this works out. Okay, check the protection. You can see here the technique of our tackle, backside tackle, is just going to straight set on this guy and get him blocked. Okay, they are working some kind of stun or twist initially that they were going to try and do. We're able to just get that stopped, but everybody's down into their gap. Again, this is an even front, so you can see our tight end is going to end up being one-on-one with that DN most likely. He ends up stepping down to his gap and lets him go, and our guard just picks up and sort of takes over. But throw a touchdown on that. All right, here, let's show getting to the backside. All right, so this is a game. So our look for this game to kind of run all of our comments and our different run actions. One of the things we like was this 2-back set with a sniffer, a Y off tight end. Okay, and so we build in all our play action off that as well. So we're going to make it all look alike. We've got motion coming from the backfield. You can see how aggressively the strong safety, who's a really good player, takes this. Okay, he's down. He's really worried about playing that screen. Corner does a decent job. He falls a little bit, but he does a decent job on the ride. But what ends up happening is, in all this motion, they lose the burp. Okay, it's a little shallow for how we normally teach it, but you can see we've got plenty of time. Quarterback is able to step up underneath the guard. We've got really good protection. And he's able to work back the burp. Okay, and the burp runs a really long way and scores a touchdown. Okay, just really quickly from the end zone, it can kind of give you a look at how this looks versus the even front. Okay, notice we still step down. Okay, with the tight end, nobody's there. He can give hand help, and we've got pulling for that defensive end. If he gets width upfield, doesn't squeeze, we've got the guard. We're able to step up and throw the burp. Okay, and you can really see how it's an easy, clean read, high, medium, low. That safety, or its corner actually, is out of there, and so there's the burp. Again, just same stuff over and over. Here's another orbit motion, this time from the slot instead of the outside receiver. Okay, notice the running back finding work on the backside. He's got an edge blitzer off the backside. He picks him up. This time, same as we saw earlier, nobody takes the flat. We do not want this guy running upfield, taking guys into the window. The burp's coming in. We want a nice, clean, layered 3-level throw. So that's graded down for that slot receiver who's pushing upfield and turns it into almost a wheel route. But still, you can see he's uncovered and is able to get a nice gain. Okay, one more. Same thing. We go orbit motion. This is goblin, so it's to the left. We would rather the guard get out there a little bit and not just stop. Okay, so that's something we got to work. Okay, but what I want you to see is the change in the quarterback's footwork. He feels like that he's going to have to get this off a little bit quicker. And so he changes and he doesn't really turn his shoulders. He goes immediately into his drop and just slides. As long as they can maintain balance, that's fine. We're okay with that if that makes him more comfortable. Okay, so we've got the ride. You see it uncaps. Safety's gone because the safety is taking that guy in orbit motion. And we're able to give a really nice ball, throw a touchdown there.